What extraterrestrials and higher beings are looking for in humans to transfer their consciousness into higher bodies and higher worlds of light during this current migration. This is what I'm going to talk about today. And of course, in order to work with these higher beings, to be transferring your consciousness into new bodies, into higher worlds of light, we work with the sacred fire, which I have videos on, to cleanse and purify our family lineage, all the discordant negative addictions and habits that are in our family lineage, because there is no reincarnation. All of our patterns come through with our family lineage. The sacred fire cleanses and purifies the discordant ones, and now you have all the good ones to work with. And the sacred fire, when you can anchor a vortexual spins that come in and they readjust your frequencies and they clean your own system out. And then we use the fire to also build a sphere of protection to protect us from the turmoils of the outer world. So I have a number of videos on developing ourselves to become more advanced human beings, and also videos on developing your spiritual gifts. So what I'm speaking about today is sort of a day-to-day reality that you're working with. So what are they looking for? They are looking for your ability to contribute harmony. In other words, to harmonize yourself, and your ability to contribute to the world inner peace, and your ability to have inner peace and contribute that peace to the world, and your ability to use your spiritual gifts in a creative way that creates value in the universe or in the world. So these higher beings who are attached to our divine blueprint, they have created, especially your creator being, the one that created you specifically, they have these destiny points that they have created for us to experience, to challenge us, to grow, and to develop these skills. And what they are looking for during this great migration, which there is a migration occurring now for the next 200 years of advanced humans who at this point in history, we have the ability to become advanced humans, a small group of people compared to 7 or 8 or 9 billion. We're speaking a small group of people who have the ability to create the kind of frequency that they're looking for, where they can take your inner consciousness and transfer it into new bodies, into new civilizations. So the day-to-day routine is that you are able to keep harmony within yourself, that you don't have a lot of inner conflict, and that you are adding peace into the world. And this inner conflict is what the sacred fire helps us to resolve through all the things I just mentioned. It's helping us to let go of these patterns. And so I have ways that I work where if I'm having discordant energies, I suggest, meditating. But if you can't calm down the mind during meditation, the next thing is you could take a nap, because the key to creating inner harmony in your daily life, and maybe you're at a place and you're in a working environment or a situation where you can't just go take a nap and shut yourself off, then go walk in nature. And not just walk in nature where your mind is chattering, but when you go into nature, surrender your outer self and merge with the trees and the flowers and the birds and the lake, or wherever in nature you're walking. Suspend your outer ego self for the walk, and purposely put your consciousness into the trees, into the breeze, into the flowers, into the lake, and spend that time walking. If it's 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes, spend that time walking, because nature can help you clear out everything. Nature is very harmonizing. Nature can always harmonize you if you get out of the way. So if you will just go blank with your outer self and merge with nature, nature can help restore your inner balance so that you can have a more intuitive mind that is able to handle whatever has caused your internal conflict. So your higher beings and these extraterrestrials are looking to see how you manage your day-to-day reality, how you're dealing with the unknown, because the unknown is where all your creativity is. The unknown is where the magic happens. The unknown is where we have to live every day. If you are attached to your outer identity, which is temporary, it is never meant to be immortal. But if you are attached to it, you will go into these astral worlds, these purgatory worlds, which are just maintaining your same ego personality and the same people in your life and the same job that you might be doing or something a little different, but you still keep that identity because you are not willing to let go of this outer self. You have determined in your mind that this is something you want to hang on to forever, and so you stay stuck. And so higher worlds of light and these higher advanced beings need us to let go of that outer reality, ego, and find the deeper inner self, the inner consciousness. I've done many videos on that because it's the inner consciousness that is transferred. And what is transferred with the outer consciousness when you go? Everything that you did through wisdom, love, and beauty. And I have a video on that. So there are positive traits of every experience because bodies are abundant in the universe and bodies are designed for the inner consciousness attached to the divine blueprint, the inner consciousness to have a temporary experience in the outer world with an outer consciousness. So this outer consciousness is never meant to be a immortal forever and ever and ever consciousness. It may last in some civilizations for hundreds or thousands of years, but it's not meant to be the you in the universe forever. If you do that, you trap yourself, and this is what reincarnation, which is a false understanding, has trapped us in a singular reality, in a singular third density planet, in time. It's trapped us in time on a planet. Just like you won't let go of who you are or your relatives or your whatever you believe in so strongly, your belief systems, you trap yourself unable to move out into new realities because other realities in fourth and fifth and sixth densities are different, very different than this reality. This is living in the unknown. So here's some things they're looking for. Your ability to live in the unknown. Your ability to not know how you're going to survive. Maybe for tomorrow. Maybe you don't know how you're going to survive 10 years from now or 20 years from now. You don't have a fear or an attachment to the future that I have to know exactly what's going to happen to me in the future. I have to know that 20 years or 30 years or 40 years from now, I'm going to have this big nest egg. I have to know that this person's going to stay with me. I have to know that this job is going to be here, this company is going to be there. The need for security is an attachment to time. And time keeps us in the past. When we attach to time, we are living in the past. And when we live in the past, we keep these old patterns going. And if we die with these old patterns going, this is what we continue doing in the astral worlds. To break out and move into higher realms of light, higher bodies of light, we have to live, they say, live in the now. Well, we have to live in a moment of unknown where we are not attaching security to a future. When you attach a security to the future, you make that future already your past. So if you say, I have this 401k that has $1 million in it, that's my nest egg, that's my future, boom. That now is a known, you know that, and it has become your past, and it has become an attachment to time on this planet. Now, that's not to say you shouldn't do that, but what I'm saying is all of your actions should be done like this. You take an action, but you do not attach to the outcome of that action. So when people talk about karma and all this cause and effect, there is a cause, but the effect happens when you attach to the need for an outcome. So you cause something in the universe. I created this work of art. I created this piece of music. Now I'm putting it out there, and I am expecting that, thousands of people are going to like it. I'm going to, create this outcome, that this is going to be my source of income, and you're creating this idea, and you're attaching known desires to something, and you're now making this unknown world into a known in your mind, even if it hasn't happened yet. In your mind, you're creating a known, and now that known has become the past. Now, I had a video I just did last week on learning to get out of, learning to take our outer consciousness and remove it, or let it take a back seat, or let it take the passenger seat, and let your inner consciousness and these divine beings on your blueprint be the driver of the car, because they know all the variables that are moving around in your universe, and they know who needs to come in, what needs to go out, what needs to happen, and they know a path for you for your best life, because they want you to achieve higher consciousness, and they want you to achieve inner harmony, and they want you to achieve a peaceful expression in the universe, and they want you to achieve value in the universe. So if you understand that these higher beings are wanting to be in the driver's seat and are wanting to help you, you can surrender the need to know every outcome. So, and I've said in the previous videos, it's a question of following inspiration and following guidance, and instead of overacting and overdoing, we get the inspiration, we get the guidance, we do take action, we do create something peacefully and harmoniously into the universe, and we may have an idea of what that creation is supposed to do. So there is some kind of future idea that I would like this to do this, like if it's something to heal people, I would like this to come together to create some sort of healing. That's okay to have an expectation of how you want your creation to manifest, but it's okay to have expectations, but it's when we are attaching to outcomes. This has to happen. This needs to happen. I need to have this security 20 years down the line. We begin to start really anchoring ourselves to time. And when we anchor ourselves to time, we create discord. We create inharmony. If you can believe what I'm trying to say to you now, attaching ourselves to time creates a discord inside of our body between our outer ego mind, our outer ego consciousness, and our inner consciousness. Because our inner consciousness is timeless, is peaceful, is harmonious, is creative, has wisdom, is loving, and creates beauty. So when we attach to time, we are now trying to take the outer world and influence the inner world, and we've flipped the way it ought to work. The inner world should be influencing the outer world, and not the outer world trying to dictate or influence the inner world. And I've had to learn this over and over and over again when I have try to create something in the universe, whether it was in real estate or the stock market or way back when I was doing other things, I would always have these end results that had to happen, end results that had to happen. Sometimes they did, sometimes they didn't. And sometimes they did, but it didn't give me what I thought I was going to get. Or it gave me something, but there was no real satisfaction in it. And so I began to understand as I worked my spiritual journey that the inner world wants to take the driver's seat, and the outer consciousness needs to take the passenger seat. So that when the inner consciousness is saying, okay, here's where we're going and here's what we're going to do, you may not know all of it, but I do. So here's what I want you to do. Bing gives you the idea, you go do that. And here's the inner consciousness knowing where we're going, knowing what we're going to do. And now it goes, bing, go do this, and you go do that. And so it's going to give you things to do. And now it's your choice. Are you going to fight? Are you going to demand to have a knowing about the outcome? Are you going to insist this happen or that happen, or he does that, or she does that, or this does that, or the world makes sense? And when you start arguing with the inner guide, your inner guidance, you create this turmoil. And we come into life with these family lineage patterns that have come from thousands of years of warring history on this planet. So we already come in with this aggressive, resistant, intolerant, animalistic behavior that is constantly fighting the internal. We don't trust the internal. We only trust what we can grab a hold of out here in the world and force our way to make it happen. And we don't trust that if we let go, that there is an intelligent system that's working for us. And so the higher beings who are trying to, at this migration point, this is not the end point where all of this time cycle, that we're at the end of this time cycle, but there's still time on it. At the very end of this time cycle, all the astral worlds will be, all the people in the astral worlds will be dealt with. They'll probably be going to third density planets. But there is a harvest before the actual end times of these beings, of those of us who can start operating on our inner consciousness as our main focus. And the actions that we take are in harmony within ourselves, which creates outer peace. And then the other actions we take are creating beauty in the world, which is what the higher beings are looking for. Because in every body of reality, any kind of physical form that inner consciousness attaches to and creates an outer consciousness, it is meant to find a way, no matter how challenging that reality, it is meant to find a way to harmonize that reality, to bring inner peace to the body and the consciousness that is in the outer, to bring peace and harmony to the conscious body that is expressing, the outer conscious body, to bring harmony and peace into their reality, and to contribute beauty, which I have a video on, that the higher beings are looking for wisdom, love, and beauty in the universe. And when I'm talking beauty, I have done videos, but I'll re-explain that just for a moment. It's when you take various different parts of your reality and you combine them, whether they're internal creative parts or they're external things you've pulled together. All these parts come together to create a whole that is so harmonious, that just look like puzzle pieces until you put them together. And when you put them together, they become this beautiful picture. So imagine a puzzle. You take these pieces, you put them together, and now you have this beautiful picture. You have this beauty that has been created. This is how consciousness, outer consciousness, is working with inner consciousness. Inner consciousness has the plan and wants to create beauty in the universe. and gives you the inspiration and then pulls the outer parts together for you to make it happen and gives you the inner guidance to make it happen. And then your outer consciousness gets satisfaction, gets fulfillment from putting all the puzzle pieces together to create something beautiful. That is the goal of your outer consciousness, to take all the pieces, make it whole and beautiful. And so that's my lesson for today, friends. Understanding that we are to be internally harmonious with our inner consciousness. And when we are harmonious with our inner consciousness, it is moving forward into the unknown. It is moving forward into its known, but we are moving into the unknown, and we're okay with that. We get guidance and we move. We get guidance and we move, and we don't always have to know or attach to the future. Because what is our purpose? Our purpose is to take all the parts that our inner consciousness gives us and create a work of art, create beauty. And so, my friends, be sure to subscribe, share these videos, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.